Shalom, we're in Parasha Tzav, Leviticus 6, verse 1 to the end of chapter 8. And we're still talking about the sacrifices, and the Haftarah is Prophet Jeremiah 7:21 to 8, verse 3, and also chapter 9, verses 22 and 23. And the Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Command, Tzav, to Aaron and his son, saying, This is the law of the burnt offering. This is the burnt offering. It shall be on the earth of the altar all night until morning, and the fire of the altar shall burn on it. So I want to share with you a pearl from the Zohar again, the Torah of the secrets of the Torah that is in this wonderful book of the Zohar. And it says in Leviticus 6:12, and the fire shall burn upon the altar and shall not be quenched. And the priest shall light wood thereon every morning, and shall set up the burnt offering and burn the fat of the peace offerings. So, what is the reason why there must be always a fire on the altar? Why must it be rekindled every morning? And why is it the priest's job to light it? So I'm going to share with you this Zohar, and it all one more time it talks about how to clean and to purify our animal soul or the deeds of our flesh. First of all, we must understand that the day is divided into several stages. The morning, where the life awakens, the light shines, is placed under the measure of chesed, mercy. While the night, when it's dark, no light, is under that of gvura. So chesed and gvura are about the midot, the sfirot, that are on the tree of life that we have been talking about since a year now. So you need to go back to refer to those videos. Second, the fire represents also the midot gvura to the left side, that is judgment, rigor. And third, the priest, on the opposite, represents the measure of chesed to the right. Again, he grants forgiveness, healing, and so on and so forth. So, however, despite the fact that he is chesed, mercy, he needs to light the fire of judgment on the altar, that is the left side. So, fire, and this is one of the reasons why it is forbidden to make fire on Shabbat, which Shabbat represents peace, wholeness. Fire represents anger, pride, judgment, all the bad midot of our animal soul that rise up against the very nature of God. This is totally different than the nature of God. It is also by fire that certain sins are purified, like the one of Sodom and Gomorrah. It is said in the Zohar that a person who sins before his master sets his own bones on fire with the fire of his evil inclination. So this Yetzer Hara, evil inclination, is rooted in an impure spirit that inhabits the person who sins. And anger is also the twin sister of pride, and pride is the matrix of all sins. An angry person is compared to an idolater, and a person that is in rage is consumed by his own fire. We say that he is in a fiery anger, talking about fire, to the point of losing all contact with reality. So this spirit, would it be in the sinner himself or coming from the source, whatever, it can only be destroyed and consumed in the flames of the altar, because the altar is holy. The flames burn away all what is unclean, and the priest, which is coming from the side of mercy, is the one who he has in mind to prepare a fire that is going to consume all kinds of evil in the world. So he's using the same weapon but with the holy side. And the fire must be intense, constant, never be extinguished. It has to keep on going. So in doing so, the priest, the Kohen, who is one more time is from the side of Chesed, the mercy, he is doing an act of mercy by maintaining this fire that is destroying constantly sins. So like this, there is a balance. So the fire on the altar consumes the fire of the sin, and the holy fire fights the bad fire all the time. This is how balance is maintained in the world. So, okay, how does it manifest in our lives? So I want to share with you a text that we're studying in the frame of our training for the restoration of the soul according to Jewish sources, from Sha'arei Kedusha Chaim Vital, who was a student of the Ari HaKadosh, great Kabbalist from 16th century in Tzfat. Character traits are naturally rooted in man's basic lower soul, which we call the animal soul, or we call it the flesh. This soul is composed of 4 different aspects: inanimate, vegetative, animate, articulate, whatever. They too are a mixture, and they were mixed with bad and evil since the original sin. And we have this task to work on this and to separate what is good and not good in ourselves. So therefore, the good and the bad traits depends on the soul, because we're a mixture of good and bad. It is a seat, a foundation, and a root for the higher neshama, intellectual soul, that is the upper soul, on which the 613 mitzvot of the Torah depend. So for this reason, the character traits are not included as part of the 613 mitzvot. Nevertheless, they are essential prerequisite for the fulfillment or negation, for the simple reason that the divine soul is powerless, or neshama is powerless to fulfill the mitzvot with the 613 organs of the body that correspond to them, except through the intermediary of the animal soul and our body, which is connected. The two of them are connected. Our animal soul is what makes us speak, move, and so, and we need to manifest it in a body. This is the secret of the verse in Leviticus 17:14. For the soul of all flesh, its blood is its life. So, however, the bad character traits are actually much worse than the transgression themselves. What does it mean? It means that if we do all the Torah and we have a bad heart, we are nothing. This is why the Brit Hadasha, the New Testament, only talks about correcting our character traits, our midot. Matthew 15:19, for out of the heart come evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, slander. So we have 2 things. We have the Torah and we have the midot. We have the commandments, how to purify, to get in before the Lord, to walk in a kosher way, and we have the midot, how to clean our heart. And the Torah we can find in Proverbs 28:9. If one turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, his very prayer is an abomination. And the Brit Hadasha, the New Testament, is mainly concerned with the midot. We need to fix our heart, because for the Brit Hadasha, for New Testament, there is no need to repeat the mitzvot. This is something that has been done already. God's words doesn't change, it's still the same. Now it's adding the fact that we need to really focus on our midot. And this is what the new birth helps us to do. Circumcision of the heart. So now we can understand why our sages said, when a person loses his temper, it is as if he is worshipping foreign gods, which is a denial of the 613 mitzvot of the Torah. Furthermore, they say, whoever has a haughty spirit is likened to one who denies the fundamental truth of God's existence, because it wants to take the place of God. He is worthy of being cut down like an Asherah, idol of Astarte, grove. This grove was used for the ancient idolatry of tree worship. So returning to the explanation of the acquisition of good character traits through the purification of our 4 elements, now that all bad character traits, we know that they are rooted in evil and the klipot, the ask, of the 4 levels fundamental soul. What are they? Those character traits are classified into 4 kinds as follows: the element of fire, the element of air, the element of water, and the element of earth. We are all composed with those four elements, but there is one of those four elements that are is dominating our personality, is dominant. We must discern it when we study. We learn how all those things in the training, and then we study how to discern on which element is the most dominant in our personality. So let's talk about the element of fire, because we are still in the frame of the fire being burnt by the holy fire. So this element is the source of arrogance, the fire, which is called a gross mind. This is because it is the lightest and highest of all the elements. It goes up all the time. It includes anger, flaring. For when somebody's will is not done, for the personality of fire, an arrogant person becomes angry. If he were always humble and recognized his own faults, he would not get angry. And he would acknowledge that this is God's will. So we see that arrogance and anger are one of the same quality. In Proverbs 18:13 it says, "The fear of the Lord is the hatred of evil. Arrogance and pride, the way of evil and the perverse mouth, these I hate." And in 16:18, arrogance goes before destruction and pride before a fall. So this character traits has three ramifications, according to Chaim Vital. Being pedantic, haughty, proud. If there was no arrogance, a person would never be pedantic, similar to what we explained with the anger in the class. Seeking to dominate others and to be honored by them. This is because he believes that he is superior. Hatred for anyone who is superior. This too is an offshoot of arrogance. And then another book, the Sefer HaMidot, gives us the following guidance. Pride leads to a loss of faith. Pride prevents the heart and eyes from perceiving the wonders of the blessed God and from fearing him. Someone who is conceited is wisdom, chokhmah, which is the upper sphira on the tree of life, and his prophecies, intuition, bina, the second higher sphira on the tree of life, go away. Like it says in James or Yaakov 3, where Jews who knew about all those sources, they knew, so they're referring to them now in this text. Which of you is wise, chokhmah, and understanding bina? Yes, Navon. Let him show his works by good conduct with the gentleness of the true chokhmah, wisdom. But if you have bitter zeal in your heart, contentious spirit, this is all the element of fire, glory not, neither light against the truth. This wisdom is not from above, but is earthly, carnal, evil. This is from the nefesh behemit, from the animal soul. For where there is bitter zeal and a spirit of contention, there is disorder and all kinds of evil deeds. Wisdom, the chokhmah from above, is first pure, then peaceable, moderate, conciliatory, full of mercy and good fruit, free from duplicity, hypocrisy. The fruit of justice is sown in peace by those who seek peace. Where do strife and contention come from among you? From the element of fire. Is it not from your passion that fights in your member? Passion, fire. You covet and you have not. You are murderers and enviers and you cannot obtain. You strive and contend and you have not because you ask not. You ask and you don't receive because you ask amiss to gratify your passions. So we are exactly in the frame of the element of fire that is not fixed, not balanced. Concerning the angry one, whoever gets angry, his wisdom and prophetic ability go away. And even if greatness has been decreed for him in heaven, he is brought down from his greatness. The Holy One, blessed he, beloves the one who does not get angry and the one who does not harbor resentment. We cannot hold grudge. Through jealousy, one gets angry. Through anger, one incurs severe judgments. Through anger, one generates foolish children. I'm still quoting from the Sefer HaMidot. Anger shortens one's life. And in James again it says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, so let every man be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. For the anger of man does not accomplish the righteousness of God." When we get angry, we are doing instead of God. We take his place, we are idolatrous. So let's finish with some detail. The color that corresponds to the fire is red. Red is left side, while white is right side, mercy. And a person generally wears the colors also to correspond to the unbalanced midot in his personality, or on the opposite, he doesn't want to wear them. Fire may want to wear white clothes to temper his judgment that he feels burning in him. Too much red in him, so he needs white, and we need to balance. So someone who is very fiery will not wear red. He will naturally move away from it because he's already consumed by imbalance, so you need to balance things. We chose the colors, the personalities in others that temper us. If we're too much impatient, we will want to have somebody who is patient. We always tend to balance things. And we must not confuse also, this is one part, but we must not confuse, in order to discern which element you are, the wounds of the past, for instance, that have generated retained or internal anger, with the anger that comes from the imbalance of the fire personality. This is something else. We'll study all of this in our class. Those are different things. For instance, somebody who is an earth person, earth element dominant in it, may have some internal anger due to an injustice experienced when he was young or something. But this anger does not make him a fire personality. We have to discern. We study all this. And impatience is also a consequence of the fire personality, for example. This means that we all have a dominant element in our personality that is mixed with good and evil. So we need to balance it, to remove what is bad, to put on the altar with the holy fire to destroy this impure fire in us. And it is in our responsibility to study this. But there's not only bad things in the fire personality, or earth or air or water personality. For instance, in the good side of the fire personality is that this person is going to be brilliant, immediately noticeable, warm, lively, because the fire really warm up things, cook, bring warmness around us. So this is a good thing. If we prevent the personality of fire to shine, it's going to lack oxygen, it's going to die. If you are an association between an element of fire and an element of water that are not balanced, it's going to be difficult to maintain. The water will always tend to extinguish the fire. And the fire can be extinguished while the water can destroy it, like a tsunami. So we have to take everything into balance. So if you want a zealous employee, for instance, take somebody who's fire. But if you want somebody who is steady, is going to do always the same job, take an earth personality. And the same with animals. There are some animals that move fast, some animals that are slow, like a turtle will be an earth element, while a jaguar will be a fire animal. Okay, so all those things we function, we live with those sort of things. But like the fire personality seeks to devour also someone or something. So we have everything to balance. And like it says in James, therefore thus say the Lord God of hosts, because you have said this, beloved, I will make my word in your mouth fire, and these people wood, and your fire shall consume them. So the fire can be used in the good side also, and in the bad sides. So we must learn to discern, and we must learn to destroy and to remove the bad elements. And this is what it says in Luke 3:9. Even now the axe is laid at the root of the trees. Every tree therefore that bringeth no good fruit shall be cut down and cast into the fire. Which is bad will be burnt. And he said unto them, Luke 3, I baptize you with water, but he comes that is mightier than I am, and I'm not worthy to loose the thong of his shoes. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire, the holy fire that is destroying in us what is not good. And in Luke 12:49 say, I have come to cast a fire upon the earth, and what I have to deserve if it already be kindled. He's come to purify her. And in Mark 9:49, and this refers to the Bet Midrash we did, for every man shall be salted with fire. I invite you to join our Bet Midrash on the Shabbat. And we talked about the salt that was an act of mercy, and the fire, which is also an act of mercy when used the proper way by the Messiah, purifying us. So the purifying fire purifies us, but we must study it. We must study the Torah of secret, the Torah of the soul, Torah Nefesh. Why? Because it helps us to discern all the things, to know our gifts, our callings, to know the personality we are, to understand better our children, to understand our spouses, to understand our friends, when we study all of this Torah Nefesh, the Torah of the soul. And now this all brings us to understand better why the book of Leviticus is read around Pesach, because Pesach is about getting out of Egypt and taking Egypt out of us, meaning really destroying the impure fire of Egypt in us. So all of this we study in this training. So what element are you? What are your gifts, your callings, the qualities, the flows to correct? How are your gifts manifest themselves? How is your calling? Are you ambitious rather than reserved by nature? Are you somebody who's more sad, which would mean that there is an element earth that is unbalanced? Or on the opposite, are you full of life and devouring life like the water element? Do you have a problem with your tongue? Like this would be the unbalanced element of air. We invite you to find all of things in this training that will transform your life, because it's based on Jewish sources, something that we don't generally teach in the Christian world. And this training on the soul, of the restoration of the soul, we have developed some healing groups, support groups that have been proven to be powerful tools for our deliverance. We started with video and PDF training with the introduction to biblical Kabbalah, the study of the personality and so on. But after we opened this support group, we realized that it is absolutely essential and really helpful to get rid of the things that make us suffer, something that we didn't understand yet, and that despite the fact that we are born again, we still struggle with them. And all the reasons of problem and so many things that are hindering our connection with Hashem. So next group will start next May. We still have some room. Please contact us. Don't hesitate. This training is really going to transform your life, and it's very affordable. We make it affordable for everybody to join. So thank you very much. You can support this ministry if you go to the website. Thank you for listening, and wish you Shabbat Shalom.